Hello everybody, how are you? All right, I'm going to share this around into the appropriate groups. So bear with me 1 second, guys.
I got our 2 groups.
Okay, you got our 2 groups, Lee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta get it to the event page,
You have to copy the link.
but
Yeah, you have to copy the link. Hello everybody.
you doing it?
I can do it if you need me to. Can you copy the link and put it in there? Okay, I'll share it. God, everybody's trying to private message me. Okay, everybody, quit private messaging me. Okay, you got it in the event? Okay, everybody, we're building an audience. Hold on here. I'm just sharing this to my timeline, too. Hold on. Got to get this all done. Hold on. Trying to do it. All these devices. I'm not made for all these devices. Oh my gosh. Oh, Angela says, I just made Honor Society again. Well, awesome. Yay, yay. Congratulations. That's awesome. Okay. It's chilly here. Yes, it is. Hi, Jewel. Hi, Marie. How's everybody doing? Trying to make sure this light doesn't get in my eyes. There we go. Norma. Hi, Norma. Hi, Heidi. So we will sit here and we will build an audience. We will. Because we have lots to talk about tonight. Yes, we do. So this is, let me be clear in case you decide later that you want to share this with somebody. This started on my Onward with Molly Inspiration for Life page, okay? It's shared to my personal Facebook. It's shared to Team Onward, and it's shared to Onward No Matter What. And under the event also, okay? Under the event. So you should be able to share from the event. You should be able to share from my Onward with Molly page, and you should be able to share, those of you, my page is public, my personal page is public. So you should be able to share from there too if you choose that you want to do that. If you don't, it's all right. Don't. It's all good. Hi, Julia. I see Julia on here. She's sneaking in. Nikisha. Hi, Nikisha. Stephanie's back. Sharika, how are you? So, okay, it is building. Hi, Susan. How are you? Hello from Oklahoma, she says. Yeah, ma'am. So, boss life people, right? We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. Yes, we are. Hi, Carol. Hi, Linda. Clara. So, let's see. Mary. Hi, Mary. Goodness. Fran is on. Good deal. Okay, so if you watched my little live stream in Onward, maybe I need water. I wanted to we're going to talk about a lot tonight. Hi, Jessica. How are you? Hi, Atala. Okay, so there's a lot we're going to talk about. Some of it's going to help you. Some of it's going to be informative. A lot of it's going to be about me. So, look, if you don't like me or you're one of my haters or you can't wait to spread the news or spread it the way you hear it, probably not the way it is, then feel free, because it's all good, because I'm going to be an open book here. And then we're going to talk about my journey and what's going on. A lot of people are not on right now because I changed the time. But I wanted to give us a little bit more time. Man. Sorry, guys. Goodness. It's cold weather. My internet is sucking right now. I'm going to have to catch the replay. Okay, you catch the replay. It's all good, Andrea. I'm still drinking my coffee, honey. I'm good. Lee was going to get me a hot tea. Lee is feeling better. So for all of you who caught it that he was not feeling good, he's a lot better than he was. So, so glad about that. Yeah, it's exactly, Tam, what it is. A stupid sinus in my bronchial tubes. Ew. And it's like Lee's been struggling with that today, too. So, okay. Friday night call. Live stream. I also announced, too, that Lee has made the decision, because we are such a social media group and following right now, that the call side, the music, all of that good stuff, as much as he loves doing it, numbers have been dwindling. We used to have 40 or 50 on the call side. Hi, Phyllis. Hi, Rebecca. We used to have many more, but now everybody is, you know, hey, everybody's watching the lives and all, and it's a lot of work for him to do that. So I'm trying to talk him into doing a call side for Christmas. But from here on out, you're not going to see the call information or the replay information, because we're really not getting any replays on that, because I'm YouTubing it. And then it's also in all the groups and stuff. So crazy stuff there. Okay, so we're making a shift there too. Okay, we're making a shift. It's time. There are just things happen in your life, and it's just time. So I'm gonna start tonight, because there's people on here that I don't recognize them as far as people who are in my group. So people could be watching who don't really know my backstory. So I'm going to do like the brief abbreviated version of what happened, what brought me to Avon. Indirect sales. Look, this is good for anybody. Just life. When your life sucks, okay? That's really what this comes down to. Hi, Sherry, North Dakota, checking in. Love it. Melody Sam, I see her sneaking in the back door there. Norma, I know you were on the call all the time with us. You were so faithful. We just love you. I appreciate that. But it's, you know, look, if Facebook would let us do music, it would be great. I could have Lee just do the music, but they won't let us do that because they're control freaks. You know how that goes. So not so good, okay? Hi, Carol. Hi, Karen. Oh, wow, this is crazy. Everybody just keeps coming on. But this is good. This is good, okay? So, you all know I've been in Avon over 14 years, okay? Was a customer for 15 years before that. My Avon rep, Marianne Penn. Roger, you know my story. Roger's my buddy. He's not an Avon rep, but Roger loves me. We go way, way back. We did concerts together, him and Lee and I, and country buffs. He's such a country music buff, and he sees a lot of people who are now big in country music. And he was with them from the start. Like, he was following them and supporting them at the bars. And I still watch him do this stuff. So he's great. So, mwah, Roger, to you. So, Deanna, you're in Miami? What are you doing in Miami, woman? Oh, my gosh. Hi, Janet. Hi, Hoffman. How are you? Broke. Decided after 17 years of marriage that it was time to call that quits. And I did, after being separated twice. It was the smart move for him and for me. He didn't like it. I didn't like it. But life was really, really hard. But here's the deal. This isn't a Friday night for you to feel sorry for me, because I don't want that. And if it wasn't for what I had gone through, guess what? You wouldn't even be here listening to me. You know that, right? Life hasn't been easy for a long time. For a long time. I mean, talk about a journey, you know? Lost my mom when I was 16. She died very painful, horrific death to cancer. You know, my dad died about a year ago, but wasn't real close to him. So the whole parenting thing, I took as much of it as I could from the good side, but here's what happens with life. I'm 55 years old now. And I was the one who put my mom up on a pedestal and, you know, just there wasn't anything she could do wrong, blah, blah, blah. But I was starting to come to that age at 16 where, you know, you're independent. You start voicing it a little bit. And you don't understand why certain things are certain ways in a relationship. Like I didn't understand a lot how she was with my dad and stuff that my dad did. Now I would be like, forget it. But yet I allowed that in my first marriage. So as you can see, what I learned is what I applied to my life. When I realized that that gut instinct was saying that, you know, that's not right. You shouldn't be doing that. That it was up to me. Was I going to keep just repeating history? When you think about the wars, when you think about stuff that's happened in the world, most of the stuff that's happened that's bad, the reason it never stopped is because it just kept repeating itself. Nobody corrected it. And I decided, when I decided to leave my first husband, I decided this is it. This is it. No more. Life should be better than it was. And not that, you know, I had a nice house, beautiful home, had it all decorated, had a pool. But I seriously just existed, if that makes sense. You know, have you ever had a point in your life where you just feel like you were just there going through the motions, you know? Like, just crazy. You knew you were breathing. You were getting the kids up and taking them to school and going to work every day. But there was such an emptiness in my life that I tried to fill with everything else. Everything else. I mean, like, the one thing I took from my mom is my mom was a fixer. And my mom did everything to make sure everybody else was happy. And by the way, no matter what that involved, little white lies, it's okay if somebody doesn't know something, but if it makes them feel better, it's okay. Changing somebody's mindset on something, and sometimes taking crap from people that in the real world nobody should have to take. That was me. I was the one after Mom died that, you know, we had that huge, you know, separation that broke my family apart, and I was always the one trying to keep everything together. I was always trying to redirect. If my ex-husband was having a bad day and he was going to take it out on the kids, I was always trying to redirect it. No, guys, you go do this, this, and this. It's all good. I got this. I'm trying to make sure they're happy. I'm trying to make sure he's happy. And nothing made him happy. But see, I wasn't there yet, right? I wasn't there yet. And at the end of the day, you're just exhausted. You just want to be loved. You just want to be appreciated. You just want to know you're making a difference. But there was no part of that. There was no making a difference. Matter of fact, because of being the fixer, because of being the no matter what, make allowances for this or that, because of that, I was part of the problem. I was part of the problem. But I didn't think I was at the time. I thought I was fixing everything. 17 years plus fixing everything in my family, being there for everybody in my family. This person wasn't talking to this person. This person's mad at this person. And I'm the one who's trying to go in there and just fix it all and tell everybody, it's okay. You know, you make allowances for family. That's the biggest case of BS I've ever heard. But I lived it. And not until I had lived enough of it and said no more did that become a reality, okay? So I left. Y'all know the story. I left. I left my home. I took lots of bills. I took my kids. He made sure that he took the bank accounts first. Hey, Scott Kramer. Good to see you, my friend. On here, but good to see you. And, yeah, Wendy, you got it. The peacemaker, the mediator. And by the way, that's exhausting. That's exhausting and it's not healthy. But we'll get to that. So, you know, when I left, I felt like an unconscious hot mess. But suddenly, when I left in the middle of the night, suddenly I woke up from the coma of what a hot mess I was and my life was and how I was living. And I have to tell you something. I truly just wanted to go back to sleep. Truly. There were things I could do with people in my life that would take my mind off of my hot mess of a life. And for a moment, it feels good. Oh, you go do this with family and friends. Oh, you go see a movie. Oh, when you see people, you're like, oh my God, everything's just okay. But inside, it's not okay. You know, you're just going through the motions. But now, the motions were staring me in the face, right? Notifications that they're going to come take my van. Bill collectors up the wazoo coming after me. I got to tell you something. I wasn't just drowning in debt. I was drowning in hopelessness. I was drowning in self-pity. I was drowning in, my God, haven't I gone through enough? Why is it always me? Can't something good just happen? Yeah, that's where I was. All I've done is try to make everything better for everybody. Why is my life the life that's falling apart? But it became very apparent when I picked up and left that the only person who could take all those pieces that were broken apart, all that hot mess sitting all around me, all the cracks in my emotional, physical, spiritual, just everything, psychological. It was just, nobody else was going to pick them back up except me. And here's the deal. Look, yeah, I take that back. Somebody else could have picked them up, but it wouldn't have helped me. I had to be the one to come out of the coma. And when I did, I know it took me a long time, but when I did, it had to be me who said, I don't even know where to start with this jigsaw puzzle that I call my life, that I'm finding pieces all over the place. Matter of fact, I think some pieces are gone, but I'm determined I'm going to pick them up one piece at a time and just see what I can fit together. So, 2 jobs. Immediately, I got that paper route. Y'all know that part, or most of you do. Look, I had a job that I was already working 40 to 60 hours a week, making not great pay, definitely was not going to pay all the bills. So within a month, I jumped into the paper route. And that was hard, guys. That was hard. I had worked hard my whole life. I can't ever think of a time from the age of 17 on that I did not have a job. That's the truth. Always had a job. Always worked hard. I was the girl that when everybody else was partying at the clubs, right, at 18 and 19, the younger girls who were working with me because I was trying to keep a roof over my head, I was the one saying, I'll take your shift. I'll take your shift. I was waitressing. I didn't care. I would work 2 shifts in a row. I would go sleep for 3 hours and come back because I was so scared, you know? So I was that person. So I thought, this is just like adding extra hours, and I could still put my boys to bed. I could still feed my kids, right? So this is how it rolled. So I worked all week, but on Tuesday nights and on Thursday nights, you know, I would get up on Tuesday morning and, you know, get up at 5, get the kids ready for school, take them to 2 different schools, go to work all day, get the kids, feed them, you know, make sure they got ready for bed, got their homework done, all of that good stuff, put them to bed, and then at 12:30, I would go out the door and I would deliver papers till 5:30 in the morning. From the moment I got home, I got the kids up, started over, did everything all over again until Wednesday night. I was exhausted. And then on Thursday night, I had to do the same thing Thursday. So Tuesday through Friday night, there was a nightmare for me. Don't say, Molly, how did you do it? This is the truth. For every woman, every mom, every dad out there, everybody who struggles because you don't want to end up on the street. You don't want to go down without knowing that you've done everything that you could to keep a roof over your kids' heads. And you don't know what you can do until you're put in the situation that you have to do it. That's the truth. That's the truth. So I did. I don't know how I did it. I was younger. I was 55 then. You know, I was like in my 40s. but I did it. And, you know, here was coming my son's senior year. Look, they were still coming after me for bills. I didn't like answering my phone. It was horrible. It was horrible. You know, you don't know, you know, I didn't have, you know, the cell phones were just that thing, and I had a home phone, and didn't have a caller ID, and I never knew who was going to call me, and I know many of you can relate, even if you've never put it out on social media, or you've probably not dumb like me and telling everybody about the worst crap that ever happened to you in your life, but we're hoping this is going to help somebody, right? I didn't want to do that. Now I had something else to worry about. My kids, I had ripped them out of their home, and they didn't even have their own bedroom anymore. I had them rooming together in this room that was a family room, you know, in my brother's downstairs, and trying to turn that into I'd taken everything away from them to get them out of this bad situation. And my oldest was getting ready to graduate, and I wanted him to go to prom, and I wanted him to have his cap and gown and everything else. I wanted that for him, but I did not know how that was going to happen. And in the meantime, you all know, I contacted Marianne about getting an Avon brochure again. Was very honest with her, didn't tell her everything, but said, I don't know when I'm going to be able to buy from you again, but Avon books always made me feel good when I looked at them. At least I could window shop from the brochure like I had always done. And she said, just stop. I'll bring you a book tomorrow. And when she did, as usual, she put that recruiting flyer in there. And it was $20 then to join Avon. I asked Marianne my questions. I needed to make sure of what I had to do or hadn't done. Hey, Sharon, how are you? Good to see you, honey. She said, Molly, you can do this. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to borrow the money. And I did. I borrowed the $20. And I thought, you know, she said, Molly, you really need to give this 6 months. 6 months to a year, but you keep building customers. You just give the brochures. You know, the same thing that me, the Formidable Four, your upline, everybody keeps telling you, right? You just need to do that. But in my head, remember, I'm a full-time worker. I got a full-time job, 50, 60 hours a week, and I'm delivering papers now Tuesday through Friday, and I am a dead somebody. Let me tell you, I'm tired all the time. I'm running off the road, coming home from dropping them off at school. I'm falling asleep at my desk, but I knew I had to have that money with the paper route. So I thought, I got to figure out how to work this into my life because I've got to get my son through graduation. So I did. First order was $53. I thought, I'm really going to be lousy at this. And that's when I decided I had to make sure everybody that that I knew got an Avon brochure. Everybody I didn't know, that was the key. Everybody I didn't know got a brochure. The first thing I'm going to say as you're listening to me is, you're hearing my journey right now, and many of you are saying, oh, I relate, no, I got this and I got that. Listen to me. I need you not to compare the middle of my story, right? My part 2 that I'm going to tell you about tonight. I need you not to compare my middle with your beginning, okay? Because every story is different. Every story is different. And the biggest farce that I see in my Onward No Matter What group, and Team Onward, and the Formidable Fours groups is everybody saying this. I don't understand. I can't do this. I can't be a better person. I'm scared. Well, number one, you're not broke enough if you're still scared, because I was scared of not surviving. When I came out of that coma, that dead coma that I was in called life, I had to say, if there is a way, I'm going to find it. I have to do this. I have to do this for my son. And I had to prove to me that I could do this. You have got to leave your fear at the door. I am so tired of hearing indirect, direct. Well, if you're indirectly broke, imagine being directly broke, okay? If you are indirectly not confident, you're directly not going to be confident either. And if you want to get rid of all those negatives, you better decide that you want to start and you want something different. And when I say decide, that means move your ass. It means do something different. It means no matter how scared you are, and sometimes you're so scared you just want to pee your pants, you're so scared. And I know, because I have been there, that I did not want one more rejection, that I did not want one more person telling me no because maybe they made more money than me. Maybe they didn't like the company I was with. Maybe they didn't like what I was doing. Maybe they just didn't like me. I had to say, I don't care. I got to find people who do like me. I got to find people who do like my company. And if there are people who don't like it or don't like me, there are certainly people out here who do, because there's too many people in the world. And this was not about them. This was about me. This was part 1 of Molly that said, I am so sick and tired of being sick and tired. I am so sick and tired of being sick and broke. I am so sick and tired of making everything okay for everybody else, but my life is crap. Nobody else saw my life as crap. You know why? Because they were so used to me being that person. They were so used to me doing what I did. What I tended to be, oh, but you're so good at it. Just because I'm good at it doesn't mean it's good for me. Heroin addicts are very good at putting needles in their arms and getting that vein every damn time. Does that mean the heroin is good for them? No. Okay? So when your actions are actions that are damaging to you, damaging to the goals of who you want to be, what you want to be, where you want to go, fear cannot play, because it is a bad drug, fear. You got to let go of that. That was hard for me. But I didn't know what I was going to do if I failed and I did not get back up. So it was not even a choice. If I didn't get it right one day, I was praying to God there was going to be another day. Okay? So many of us are good at the wrong things. We are wrong. We are so good at how we talk to ourselves in the mirror, how bad we say we are at stuff, how you can't do something. I can't do that. I stopped doing that. I'm just a failure. When is the last time you said, I'm a winner? Not I want to be a winner. Not I'm going to be a winner. How about I am a winner? How about you have a goal and you say, you know what? That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to keep it going until it's done. I'm there. I'm going for it. Because I'm sick and tired of being who I don't. And those pieces on the floor, I wanted to start picking them up and make them whole again. But not the same person. See, that's the problem. The problem is you're a hot mess, you're all over the place, and you're trying to put the person together that just broke all over the floor. Stop that. Same actions, same attitudes, same everything. I just got to pull myself back together again. Well, maybe yourself wasn't so great and you needed to put together something different. Think about it. Some of these things that we hear ourselves say, oh, you've got it. You know what? I just want things to be how they used to be. Did you ever think that that other person may not want things to be like they were? That was my ex-husband's problem. I just want you back. I just want you. I just want things to go back to how they were. Dude, not happening. I did not like how things were. I did not like who I was with you. I did not like who you were with me. I did not like where my life was going. I did not like anything about this. I don't care how comfortable it felt. Comfortable is not always good. If you are not uncomfortable in something you want, if you're not uncomfortable in a relationship that you're like, everybody's like, I'm just so comfortable in my relationship. You better not be comfortable all the time. You can have trust in your relationships. You can love your relationships, but you should always be looking for a way to make it better. You should always be looking for another source of newness. You should always be figuring out how to let that other person know that you love them. Don't, oh, I put a ring on your finger, so you should know I love you. Oh, malarkey. That's such malarkey. That's somebody who doesn't want to put the work in. And the people who want to put the work in are normally when it's too late, when you've pushed the people over the cliff. And guess what? They don't want nothing. They just want you back where you were. And if they can get you back there, they're so happy. I didn't want to be the person that I was when I was in that life coma. When I realized that Avon could work for me, my company, if you're watching this, many of you watch me from other companies, no matter what it is. When I found my thing, when I found my mojo, when I found the one thing that I love, that I thought, you know, I could be pretty good at this. It might take me a while, but wouldn't it be really cool if I could drop this paper route? Because this paper route is killing me, man. It is killing me. And that was my goal. My goal was I wanted to grow my business enough that I could say, I don't have to leave at 12:30 in the morning anymore. I get to sleep from 12:30 to 5. Boy, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. So that's what I work towards. In the meantime, it was definitely playing with my health. Lee was in my life at this time. And I had earlier in life had a partial hysterectomy. And now, because of the physical savagery that I was putting on my body, the doctors said, you know what, we've got to go in and we've got to just finish it up. We've got to give you a complete hysterectomy. And I was okay. I wasn't broke up about not having any more kids. I was done with all that. But I was pretty like, man, my body is just giving out on me. I mean, I wasn't getting sleep. I was always stressed. I had bill collectors after me. And things were not happening fast enough for me. But Avon decided that somewhere along the line, I belonged in this. The people that I met raised me up. They didn't want me in a life coma. When I was talking to myself saying that I was a failure at something, others were telling me, you're only a failure if you're not trying. See, I didn't think of that one on my own when I tell you that all the time. I started reading things that were uplifting, and I started to try to let that stuff come out. Speaking the truth. Speaking the truth. And at its hardest, being truthful to what I then did not know was becoming a following for me. I had no idea when social media came out that so many people were watching me and they were following my story, and people knew more about me than I knew about me. I was like, oh, did I say that? Because I remember saying that. And I probably did say that, because how else would they know? But Molly, this inspired me. Molly, that was me. Molly, I was in that situation. Molly, I wanted to quit. Molly, I had 2 or 3 jobs. Molly, I had a really bad divorce. Molly, I lost my home. Molly, I was on the streets living in my car. And then I realized that some of the things I had been through were not nearly as bad as the people that were sharing with me, but it was my story. So to me, it felt really bad. But I needed that to know that, you know what? I was trying to stabilize. So about 6 to 8 months into my journey with figuring out how this whole business thing was going to work for me, I was able to replace that income. The income from the paper route. And believe me, they did not want to lose me. Because I told you, when I do something, I am all in. So while all the other paper people were calling out and saying, oh my God, there's ice on the ground, there's snow, I don't think my car will go through it, I was there. I was doing it. I couldn't lose the money. This is how it was. It was a way for me to share my Avon brochures. I took my business and I worked my business into my second job. I worked it into my first job too. Going to the bank, dropping off stuff, picking up money, whatever it may be. I worked it in to what I did. And because I did that, I worked it into my kids' lives. I worked it into my kids' schools. I worked it into my kids' events. I worked it into my kids' friends' parents. I worked it into everything because there was no other way that my goal of giving up that paper route was going to happen. So when it happened, I was thrilled and scared all at the same time. Does that make sense? You know how it is. Like, you finally make enough money and you're like, okay, I could give that up. But then, do I really want to give that up? Because really, that's like an extra income type thing. And I know I'm making the same amount. But, I don't know. But yet I knew I didn't want to keep doing that. I didn't like doing it. It was lonely at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. But I did. My health required it. And I realized it was going to open me up to more hours, that I could use some of those same hours here and there. And I could go out and I could cover neighborhoods with brochures, that I could talk to more people. And my business kept growing and I got into leadership and, I started building a team. I did not know what I was doing, but I was building a team. I was simply telling people what it did for me. I told people about getting in. I told people about wanting to pay for my kids' college or high school diploma celebration, graduation, whatever it was. I told them about that. I told people about having this paper route and wanting to get rid of it, and I didn't want to do it anymore, and I had to make enough money, and I just kept doing a bunch of actions until I found the right actions, and sometimes it was all the actions and me working really, really hard and lots of extra hours, and because I had a goal. And people would go, really? It's crazy. You just decided you were going to do it. And I said the doing it was the hard part. The doing it. The doing it. The getting it done. The getting it done, especially when I didn't feel like getting it done. The fact that I had to give up events, that I couldn't go to things, that I could not go to family events, that I could not go do things other people did because I had goals and I knew what I needed, and it required all the concentration and all the time and all the effort that my boys did not require. And I was doing it for my boys. But mainly, I was doing it for me. Because during all this time, I was recreating Molly Stone at the time, who would be Molly Stone Bibb later on. I wasn't putting those pieces together. I was rebuilding me. It was like the Bionic Woman times Avon. You know what I'm saying? It was like the Avon lady. But really what it was Molly who said, as scared as she was, and she walked away from something that could have just stayed comfortable. And it wasn't good, and I walked away. And it was knowing I was going to be really tired, but I had to make more money, and I decided, I don't know if I can deliver these papers, but you know what? There's money in it. I'm going to go do it. And then it was, wow, this really did pay for this for my son, this Avon thing, this thing. Okay, I really, really don't want to do the paper. Okay, I can replace it. I know if I keep doing these actions, I know eventually it could do this. On to the next big goal. Wouldn't it be really great if Avon, this company that I'm like kind of digging, telling people what I do, kind of digging, helping people figure out what they want to do. I'm digging the products. I am digging turning people onto these products. I'm digging the discounts I'm getting because I can buy Avon again. Wouldn't it be awesome if this could replace my main job? Wouldn't that be awesome? I thought, okay, so it replaced the paper route. This is how much I was making here. Remember, I was only about 1.5 years into the business. I watched my upline, Mary Ann Penn, and everybody she introduced me to. I watched this business support them, but they all said, not at first. It took time. Not at first. You got to keep going. You got to do this even when it feels like it's not going to happen. You got to do this even when you go backwards a little bit. You got to keep after it. You can't give up. Consistency took me a long time to grab a hold of. Y'all know that. I've shared this in recent lives with you. That I feel like only in the last almost year have I finally mastered my definition of what my consistency needs to be in my life. And through all this, finding myself and finding where I could be the best use to my team, to my own life, how it was going to help me grow. But I kept working this. 7 years into this, 7 years. And I mean working my weekends. I didn't have any weekends. Rarely did I take a day off on the weekend. You know, there wasn't the day of signing up online. I was placing ads in papers, and I was advertising all over the place. And I was keeping my main job because I was trying to pay the bills with all of that from my main job, but taking my leadership checks and dumping that into my business any way I could. Events, because the one thing I learned right away, and really, let me be clear, not really from Avon people, but from other people in other companies, I learned that you must invest in your business. You must invest your time. You must invest your mind. You must invest your pocketbook. And as it expanded, that meant, sure, maybe I could have quit sooner and just lived. I didn't just want to live. I wanted more. I wanted to give up that job. I did not want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning anymore. I wanted to get up at 8 and drink some coffee and maybe one day figure out what boss life was. That's what I wanted. I know that meant then becoming a senior executive. Now, I'm not going to get into all the stuff with Lee and his eyes and all of that. Again, that's probably part of another story. But for those of you who know, you know the other stepping stones we had. We found out that Lee had a genetic eye disease. Lee was making great money, loved his job, okay? And all of a sudden, in the midst of me wanting this goal and just working tooth and nail, I find out he's got this going on, and he's eventually going to lose that job. He's going to lose the sight that he needed to do that job. Wow. The struggle is real, dude. It is real. Just because you're doing the right thing does not mean that you get the award of no more struggles. That's the whole, I'm doing everything right, and then this happens. Get used to it. There are not struggles on the path. Struggles are your path. And you do not become better. You do not perform better. You do not become a better person until you figure out how to work through the struggles that are on your path, because they are the path, and that is what makes you greater at what you do. That is what shows you what you can really do, that you can really do. Even when you think, oh my God, I'm so done with doing this. No, no, no. Don't ever count yourself. That's why I never say never. You never know what life is going to bring you. Never. We kept working. I knew what it meant. We had to hit that title. Not to mention Lee wanted to go to Alaska. So that was an extra drive for me. And the trip was an Alaskan cruise. It was gonna happen. I was so driven. Lee was driven. I was not going to go backwards. It was going to be a struggle. It was going to be tight. We were going to have to live like college students that don't have money. Not today's college students where mom and daddy are giving them everything, okay? We talking old school when you don't have no money and you're eating like ramen noodles and all that. Yeah, that stuff right there. Generic everything. That's what I'm talking about. So we make it, right? But remember, we're newbies. We're just making the numbers. You know, if you got to have 30,000 or 40,000, whatever the thing was at the time, when you're a newbie, you're just hitting the numbers. So you're struggling. Your title at risk, you know, those things happen, right? And when you do, your check goes down, right? Yeah. But I knew because of what we were doing, we got there. So now the key was strengthen it. Strengthen it. There was even a time in that senior executive thing, which is now bronze executive. So y'all know if you're new, senior executive was what today is known as bronze executive. There was a time in all of that when things were not so good. Things weren't so good in Avon. Things started to get tight again. And I had to make, for Christmas, I'll never forget this, I had to make the decision that I was going to have to go back and get a second job. Because it just was not happening. It was not happening. Things were happening, you know, right before I completely walked away from my job or could completely walk away from it, that I was like, man, you know, I'm not getting paid. My hours were cut. I wasn't getting my paycheck. So I had to view it differently. See, I wanted to think I was a failure because, oh, I hit this level. And guess what? Oh my gosh. I have to go to work somewhere else because I can't let my bills get behind again. I can't have people calling me again. I don't want that life. So I went to work at Target and I became a cashier. And very quickly I became their head cashier and their trainer. And I met some awesome people. It was a door that was open that although it was more money for me because it was another paycheck, I was able to build my customer base more. Employees, customers would always see, like, you know, me coming in with my Avon. I would have an Avon book that I was sharing with somebody. You always find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. But I wasn't going to give up. See, people think, oh, well, if I've got to go do that, then it's not working for me. No, that's not true. What happens is the struggle is real and you think you shouldn't have any struggles. And I know that because that's kind of how I felt at the moment. I stayed there longer. I was going to stay there over the Christmas holiday, past that, and they talked me into staying longer, and I was there for almost a year. They actually tried to talk me into going into the corporate world of Target, and they wanted to train me to run stores, and problem is, my heart was with Avon. Problem was, I didn't want to go back to work for somebody else. I wanted to be my own boss. I'll do what I have to do, but I need to keep building my business because I know what I want and I see others have it. And I want to believe that there's something special about them, but I think the deal is they just didn't give up. They just did what they had to do so they could keep working what they needed to work. So I did, and eventually things got better. We were not title at risk. And we were not only just meeting our numbers, we were over our numbers, and it was such a good feeling. Now, guys, I'm 7, 8 years in. 8 years into my business then. 8 years. 8 years of, I'm telling you, working it hard because I knew what I wanted. And I didn't know anybody who ever had any type of a business where it did not build slowly. It did not build with effort. That they could not walk away every time they got pissed off. That they could not walk, oh, it's Christmas time, I'm just going to take off. Who does that? Nobody who truly wants to build something. People who have empires today, they did not stop until the empire was built. People who wanted to be superstars. I don't care if you're talking about Michael Jordan or Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, or, yeah, I know, I follow all these people. I'm sorry, but see, I follow their backstory, not how rich they are now, not how many movies are not made now, how many games did he win, but I want to know what got them to the top. I want to know what was it. I've been listening to Mastermind with Oprah, and I was listening to the John Bon Jovi story the other day, and I've heard it before, but I was listening while I was getting ready, and it just spoke volumes to me how many times they were up and down, and these people are so honest when they're on there, and that's what I need to hear. I need to hear about their road. I don't want to go in and view their mansion. I want to know how they got there to have the mansion. I want to know how they got there where they didn't have to worry about their bills getting paid again. I want to know how they obtained their passion. What is it that they wanted? And all of them said the same thing. They had to walk away from the wrong people. They had to associate with the people who had work ethics like them and wanted people who wanted to see them be successful, people who wanted to give them a hand up. And that goes for all the people I'm following in these businesses too. You know, everybody talks about her, but Lisa Wilbur, are you kidding me? She didn't start as this lady who had a whole lot of money to invest in her business. She started in a freaking trailer with her electric being getting ready to be shut off. You know, Teresa Paul. We're not talking about, I mean, Mary Ann Penn. She went through the bad divorce too, and he wanted her to fail. Just like my ex wanted me to fail. But I had to mimic the actions they were doing. And the one thing that was steady was this. Whether it's Scola, once they decided there was a grand plan, they were going to do anything they had to get there. See, the problem is you see something, oh yeah, well, I'd like to have that, but you don't really want it. You would really like it if somebody just handed it to you, but I'm going to tell you, that will never happen. Nobody is just going to hand you anything. This life takes work and effort and learning, and if your pieces are all over the place, rebuild. Rebuild. Figure out who you want to be. Because I got news for you. If you want to be the same person who you, well, Molly, you did that in 7 years. Well, I've been doing this for 15 years. Well, I have to tell you, what is it that you need to fix? What is it do you need to let go of? Maybe it's people in your life. Maybe it's habits in your life. Maybe it's what you think. How you think. But if you are stuck, you're choosing to be stuck. I don't want to hear about your health. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about the fact that you have an unsupportive spouse or whatever. I don't want to hear about it. It's all part of the journey. It's your journey, but it's all part of the journey. Now, you either going to figure it out or not. You can get mad at the structure or not. What are you going to do to get where you want to get? Here we go. So, 5 years ago, I made a decision. Matter of fact, I didn't even ask my husband about it. I just made the decision. 5 years ago, my husband wanted to move to the Carolinas. And a lot of things happened at the same time. We were looking to do that. We weren't exactly in the place to do it right then, but we had been looking. And, you know, I'm a Maryland girl. I've never lived anywhere else. So for me, it's a zip code. It's geography. As long as I'm with him, it didn't matter, right? My kids were raised. They were okay. And 5 years ago, my oldest brother was in a really bad place. Most of you know this because you were following that whole part of my journey when it was happening. And my brother was diagnosed with cancer. And it was bad. It was bad. He was going to lose his home. And it was bad. And I decided, being the fixer that I am, and the family person that I am, and putting myself last, as I have always done in the past. And I decided that the right thing to do would be to get a place and move my brother and his wife in and take care of him and see him through this. And to see him through the cancer. And later on, the chemo, the radiation, the back and forth to doctor's visits, the yelling at him when he didn't want to do what he should do, the weighing out of what it does to your relationship when you have to do that. Then he had heart issues, and we continued to see him through that, open heart surgery. You know what? The only people you can fix are yourself. You can't fix other people. You can't fix them. So if you're a fixer, I'm going to give you the greatest piece of advice. If you're working on fixing anybody else other than you, you're going to fail. Because you can't fix people, they can only fix themselves. I'm 55 years old, and I have just realized that in the last 6 months. You cannot help people from self-destructing. When they know what they want to do, they just do it. They'll hide it. They'll lie. They'll swear they're doing the right thing, and they're not. And fact of the matter is, if I had to go back again, I would do it again, because that's who I was. See, my thing then was, you do what you have to do for family. You give up everything, if that's what it calls for. But I realize you're supposed to be there, as I've always told you guys, to give a hand up. that you're hoping that any help, any sacrifice, anything that you do, you're really hoping that that is going to help them be a hand up. It's not about the appreciation. It's not about the owing anybody. It's just you want to see people in a good place again because you love them and you care about them, but you can't fix people. You can't change how people think. And if you're that person and you think you're doing it with your significant other, if you think you can change your kids and you can fix your kids, oh, take it from this mama, you can't. They've got to see what they want to see, what they need to see, and you hope that they see it and that they fix it. And if they don't, then you are going to be the mama who's sitting there in tears and this and that, and you're going to pray to God every day that they figure it out. And if they don't, you're going to be really sad that they didn't. But just like 17 years into a bad marriage, that somebody picks at you and prods you and sticks you with a stick, and you're on the edge and you're ready to say no more, and they hit you one too many times. And I don't please don't take this out of context, not physically, but they poke you underneath that, and what happens is boom. Okay, so I have dedicated over 5 years of doing what I felt like I needed to do, what I wanted to do to get that done. And I woke up and realized that it was finally time. These podcasts that my husband turned me on to, see, this is what makes me start thinking differently. I'm telling you, there's some crazy wild people on podcasts. Y'all need to be like Rachel Hollis and them. I'm just saying. I keep turning you on to these people. You need to watch people who think the way you know you need to think, okay? So that's what I'm going to say about that. Girl, wash your face. Girl, wash your face, okay? So I chose, now look, in the midst of doing everything that was done in the last 5 years, we created some significant debt. You do what you got to do, right? I reached my first big, huge goal. We just talked about it, that Avon could pay my bills. And that's huge. That's huge. Pay your mortgage or your rent, your electric bill, your gas. It can buy you food. It can put the gas in your car. Pay your car payment. Buy your clothes. Do whatever it can. And you know what that is? That when I really think about it, that like is so great. How many people can say that, right? But with this new journey of mine, and I have outwardly let everybody know who needs to know that my husband and I have decided that by next October, we will be living in North Carolina. That people need to get their affairs in order. And because for the first time in my life, I'm going to be really selfish. I am going to move, and I am going to live a life with my husband, and I'm going to move to a state that doesn't have a lot of cold weather. And in the process of doing this, Lee and I kept looking at everything, and I kept saying, you know, baby, I really don't want to take this debt down with me. I don't, you know, we are, because of picking up all the bills that we've picked up, we got to do something. And I said, and I'm scared it's going to I don't know how we're going to do everything we need to do. And I decided that I needed a new side hustle. So you all have seen it. You watch my hashtags, hashtag side hustle. So for the last month, I picked up a second job. Yes, as a bronze executive with Avon. That it's still paying my bills, but I have a new goal. And my new goal is, because of my impatience, that I am going to pay the majority of my debt off before I make the move. Not to mention moving expenses, right? Well, I will continue building my business and doing everything I do because this is my passion. I love my Avon. I love my tribe. I love my team. But my side hustle is Uber. I am Ubering. I am an Uber driver. Molly part 2. Yeah, that's me. Yeah. This is what I knew, and now it's been proved to me. I am well enough, healthy enough. I have the mental capacity. I am the biggest freaking go-getter you will ever meet in your life when I decide I want something. That would be the new me, not the one that was scattered in pieces. And I have taken this, and it is helping me build my Avon business. Pfft, crazy, right? All my books are ready, free sample packets, everything I show y'all how to do. Take me, I'm free, books in the back of my van, Avon signs all over my car, everybody knows. And if you go look at my Uber profile, it says I am the Uber Avon lady. And it talks about my goal of moving to North Carolina and paying off my debt. And it talks about how I want to put my husband and I first. And I am so excited. And I had my first week, 4 new customers, online customers. Talk about building an online presence. Emily Seagren would be proud of me. And $221 in online orders from this. Yes. Just talked to another young lady the other day. Last night, matter of fact, who I believe is going to sign up because when they hear what my goal is, they are so excited. There he is. Say hi, Mr. Bibb.
You're getting a lot of questions. Are you not going to do any more live videos and all this stuff? So you need to address that.
I'm going to. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Okay, that's why I gave this one a little bit more time, guys, because I knew it would require this, okay? So, you remember how I told you consistency and that in December, I started doing some things differently with my team. We all got together, me and my leaders. I decided what I could do and do the best to help my leaders. And I made myself a schedule to make sure those things got done and they knew what they were supposed to get done. And we have significantly seen, after having all these cracks in our business, we have seen these cracks come together and our team is working as a tribe should. And I love them for it. We've all had our issues. We've all had our roads of struggles, right? Right? And my team has too. I'm not the only one who has struggles. And I let them know all of this first because when I'm out driving, obviously I can't answer texts or anything. So some stuff has to wait. But my sales business has gone up. The fact that people want to know. And let me tell you what's really cool, no lie. They sit there and they talk to me about my story. They say, oh, everybody wants to know, why is somebody who's Ubering, why are they Ubering? And when I tell them why, and I'm very honest with them, just like I am with you, and I say, I love this, my business, it pays for my bills, and this is really great, but I'm impatient, and I don't want to go down with this debt, and I just, I'm excited about this, and I know I can do this. And suddenly, instead of a $3 tip, there's a $10 tip. There's a $26 tip the other day. And these people feel like they're helping me, and they are. They are. Talk about give back, literally, right? Give back. Will the debt be completely paid off? I don't know. God is good. That's all I'm going to say. But I love this. Can I tell you that this has opened up a world for me to share my story, what I do, why I love it. Just like when I worked at Target. New goals, Molly Stone Bibb, part 2. This is a huge one, guys. This is like I want Avon to pay all my bills. I am going to take this for as long as I have to, and that is going to pay this debt off that I have obtained over the past 5 years. And when I move there, I am going to be in a much better place, Lee and I are, financially. And it's going to make me a happier person. Now, there are people who are going to take what I've shared tonight and they're going to turn this any which way they want to, just because, one, they'd like you not to follow me. Two, they would like to tell you that the business that I mentioned, almost $2 million business that we're running, does not work. It does work. It does work. But when things happen in life, and they're always going to happen, it probably would have been very easy for me to use all my corporate connections to say, well, I'm just giving up everything and I'm going to go to work at the corporate thing. I'm going to go make X amount of dollars and it'll be all good. No, 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 no. See, that's not where my heart is. My heart is exactly where it's always been. It's here. I am not giving up on what I have with you. I am not giving up on my customers. I'm not giving up on this company that I am so passionate about, because you know what? It pays all my bills. And I love that, because it pays all the payments for my credit cards. I want to pay it off. I want to pay it off quicker. I'm impatient. A weight has been lifted from me mentally, emotionally, and there are people in my life who are not happy about this. I'm okay with that, because just like when I was getting my divorce, when you make changes in you and in your life, it does affect other people. It does. There's no way that it can't. But you need to let those people take care of those people. They can figure it out. They'll figure it out. They'll make adjustments. They'll get over being mad at you. They'll eventually maybe even be happy for you. And I have had to say, Molly, girl, wash your face. If you're not, you do not get to dictate my life from the cheap seats. You don't. You're not living my life. You're not paying my bills. Nobody knows the journey that's been walked in the last 5 years. And again, it's all good. Lee is answering some questions for me on here, and I love that. Now, this is where you come in. Of course I'm going to do live streams with you. Of course I'm still going to share everything with you. But here's the deal. I was having a real issue with this because I was worried how you all were going to take this. I am nobody special, but I think I'm special to you. And that's awesome for me. I love being special to you. But I also don't want you to think that I am doing this because I don't believe in my company or because this can't happen. I don't want this. Yes, Patty, more stories. See, I was really, look, I got in myself, and you can ask Lee, you can ask my friends Teresa and Scola and Eric and Lisa Wilbur and all of them. I was like, I don't want my tribe to look down on me. I don't want my tribe to go, what the heck is she doing now? And they all really helped turn me around to say, girl, are you kidding? This is like guerrilla marketing. You were reaching people you would have never reached before. Can I tell you about the neighborhoods that I have found that in 5 years I never knew existed? That now I've got my sister-in-law working on getting brochures ready because we're going to go do some mean tossing for Christmas, you know, all with my online store. Because, see, I'm getting ready to move in the next year. So I want to turn these people into online sales. So Emily Seagren will be proud of me, see? So I feel better because I've been able to share it with you. I just haven't known how to do it without you all thinking, you know, what is she doing? What I'm doing is looking after me and Lee. What I'm doing is I am going after my dreams. I have been looking at houses for 6 months down there. We're going to go down. We're going to rent first, see where we like, see what we like, and then eventually we will probably buy. But just think, we'll have a place big enough then that we can actually have Avon parties and you guys could come see me and I could cook for you, see? But I feel really good about my decision. And I want you guys to feel good for me if you can. And for you haters, you know deep down inside, you know that you hate me a little bit less. You know you do. You know you got to admire this. Just speak it. Speak it into existence. So this is where I'm at. And so now I feel like when you're following me, that I can, and when I say side hustle or when I'm doing live streams with you all, and believe me, I could already tell you stories, but I'll save them for the Onward group, okay? It's going to be a journey, and I invite you, Tam, of course you can, and I invite you to follow me on this journey. I invite you to push me and encourage me and love me the way you've always done. And some things, as you can tell, have not been as frequent, like the live streams, but that's been me trying to get my schedule set to where I know what I'm doing, when I'm doing it. And let me finish this out by saying, I tell you this because nothing is going to happen to change in your life until you take the bull by the horns and you decide that you want it to change and that you want more or you want to be better. And sometimes it does require, this is no different than me having a main job and having to do the paper route and having to do Avon because it wasn't meeting the requirements. It wasn't paying my bills. I had to get it all together. It's no different than me having to do a side hustle because I wanted to pay for Christmas that year at Target for my kids. I had to do it. You do what you have to do when it calls for you having to do it. But I am so eternally grateful to Avon. One, because of this business, because of what I've built, because of how my team has grown the businesses the way they want the businesses, it has allowed the second opportunity into my life for me to touch more people, introduce them to new Avon, talk about what they can do. You know how many people I've picked up who don't have vehicles at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night from their jobs and take them home, and they start talking to me on the way home, and I tell them that I remember when my car was going to be repopped. I remember when I was working for the minimum wage. I remember when I was in a dead life coma. And now I got customers who are loving me in a different world, and they've become my Avon customers, and I'm hoping that soon a couple will become new representatives. And so that's what I have for you. This is part 2 of big goals. I've always had goals, but this is a big one because moving is scary. You know, you want to make sure you have the money in place. We got to go down and we got to find a place. And now that we've shared this with you, I'll be able to now open up and share the whole journey with you. And that's what I wanted. But I wanted you all to hear it from me so that when you're hearing the side stories about this or that about Molly, or they're trying to use me to make our company look bad, or to make anything else look bad, or maybe even to make me look bad, I want you all to know, my tribe, to know this real scoop on this, that when people are talking crap, it's because there's something going on with them, because only people going to talk about other people when they're trying to better themselves, or people who aren't happy with where they're at. So yeah, so now the story's out and you've heard it from me. I don't know, a lot of you, some of you on here in the Washington, D.C. area. Tomorrow, Lee and I, along with Linda Montavon and her husband, Richard, are going to be at the Washington, D.C. Making Strides Against Breast Cancer for Avon. We're going to be walking that right there in the heart of D.C. Mateo going to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning going to D.C. Y'all know how I don't like that early stuff. So we going to be doing that. What'd you say, Lee? I think he said something about tatas. That would be my husband. Yes. So, yeah, so we're going to be down there. So be watching for the pictures and stuff. We're going to be sharing everything with you while we're down there. Thank you for letting me be me to you, because I have been struggling with being me for about 3 weeks with you guys when this started. So, and as usual, the love is being shared and I see the hearts, and thank you so much. And you know what? One day I'm going to be where Lisa Wilbur is, and I'm going to make Lisa Wilbur money, because I don't call it Avon Platinum money. I call it Lisa Wilbur money. Right now, I'm just trying to get to Scola and Teresa Paul money. You know, I'm working my way up. So when I can get there, and then I have less debt, and you know what? Party's on me, guys. Just saying. Let me get there, but the party's on me, okay? So I love you very much. Thank you for being on tonight. I appreciate the extra time. I knew I would need it. And if you think anything about this could help anybody, their business, their life, whatever it may be, please share this. I will eventually, soon, hopefully, make this into a YouTube video. And that way, it's a lot easier to share. Okay? So, talk to you soon. Have a great weekend. And for those of you who are going to be in DC, I will see you tomorrow. Take care, guys. Onward, no matter what.